Thanks for tuning back in to Pro Side Productions coverage of the 2020 Buckhorn Open, presented by the Capital Area Disc League. Other sponsors: Fly Guy Disc Golf, Kirsch Lending, and Peterman Realty. It's me, Philip Bartholomew here, joined with
Carlos Zantana. Welcome back, guys. This is going to be an awesome coverage of the final round. This is round number 3. This is what everybody's been waiting to see. I know everybody's been watching on Facebook to see when we get this last one out. Thank you for the patience. It's been a hell of a ride. Joe Forrest doing everything he can to put it out there, man, but it takes a lot of work, and I appreciate it. But today you're going to see what all that adds up to. It's amazing footage, 3 different views, and some awesome plays and shots by some of these pros from the local North Carolina, Raleigh.
Speaking of
and surrounding.
We've got a couple heavy hitters out here today. A few, I should say. More than one, more than 2. We've got Brad Ramsey.
Brad, yeah, man. He's been doing some work in the course lately, and he made it to the final card. This is going to be really interesting.
We have Taylor Raflowski in the lead currently.
Very hard name to pronounce. He is doing really well too.
Myself, Philip Bartholomew in the mix.
All right, Phil.
Second place right now. And Sean Gu. Putting out the card.
Guff. All right, it's Gu.
Many different names to pronounce his last name. All debated. Sean told me. He told me. It's Sean Gu.
As a score, as you can see before you, we have Taylor is in the lead with 18 down. This is after, of course, 2 different rounds beforehand. Phil is -17, tied with Sean Gu, and Brad Ramsey at -16 in 4th place.
Taylor's first up on the box, hole 0 here. It's a 280-foot kind of pipeline shot. You just got to hit the gap and kind of hyzer off at the end. He's done that, thrown it a little bit long and left.
Just like before, there's been a couple shots that just passes a little bit by the basket and kind of deep. There is a couple trees in the way, but it shouldn't be that much of an issue as long as you're not lined up directly in the midi.
This is me throwing a Jawbreaker Challenger of the CT kind. About 30 feet, 30 feet.
Looks like it.
Happy with that.
As long as you don't hit any of those tree lines on the left or right side, it's nice to be down the middle.
Yep, this is Sean. Sean's got a very interesting playing style, but it works. It works really well. He's super good in the woods, very accurate player.
I agree.
And he's a good guy. He's good to play with.
Yeah.
He's got good energy. He keeps it fun. He keeps it light.
You can see in the previous rounds. I was just noticing it today. It kind of looks like a magic trick whenever he throws, like out from under his other shoulder or hand. Ha-ha!
And he's throwing his rock down the fairway, right down the middle, probably about 45 feet away from the basket. Here's Brad. Excuse me from earlier. It was Brad that was rounding out the card, not Sean. Sean's respectably in 2nd place.
Yep.
Brad's 1 stroke back. Brad is a technician in the woods. He knows how to throw it right at the basket.
You think that's a putter or mid-range?
I would say it's probably a mid-range from Brad. Probably a rock, though, if I had to guess. He's throwing it a little bit sawed off.
A little inside, but
there's the alleys that you were talking about earlier, and he's going to have a look at the basket from there.
I think he's right next to Taylor, so they'll have some similar
Yep, he might be
putts.
A couple feet closer, but it's going to be an interesting line through there for sure.
This is hole number 1. Everybody's trying to make an impact early, so are the nerves getting to you, you think? Do you remember?
You know what? I think the first couple rounds I played this hole, I didn't feel so great about it. But by this round, I was like ready to go. I was ready to get a birdie here. I think I had missed it the first one. I might have gotten it the first round, but I definitely missed it the second round.
Taylor just freaking pinpoint accuracy through, I can't tell, maybe a couple trees, but still, that was a great putt from there.
That was definitely outside the circle, and he's really making a statement right now.
Yeah, he's trying to keep the momentum.
He's in the lead, and he's going to stay that way. Sean from about 25 feet.
Great
right
putt.
In the middle. That feels really good on the first hole.
I'd be so nervous. No, thank you. Ooh, too far from me.
And it looks like I'm about the same, 25, 28 feet, something like that.
Is that tree affecting you on the right?
I don't think so. I think I've got a straight look. I'm going like in between that little one and the one behind it. And that's
nice.
good. That's such a big confidence builder.
ProSide Productions. That needs a little highlight right there.
We're having a good time today.
Good weather at this point. All the snow is away, as you can see.
It's dry. The first day that it's actually dry, your disc isn't getting wet, your fingers aren't feeling sticky.
Prime time to make a move.
Absolutely. And we've got Brad here. That's not the pro side. We're about 23 feet, just chaining out left. And tap in for par.
Good 3 though. Changing up some of the graphics, as you can see. We're playing around with a couple things, so let me know what you guys like. Just put in the comments. Joe Force is doing all this, so we're just, helping him along as he goes along, and we just want the best view for all of you guys watching. So just
comment, like, and subscribe.
Please do.
Join us. And we're on hole number 1, hole 2. This is 336 feet, par 3, playing in the long position. Taylor's still up first. Looks like he might be throwing a fairway driver of sorts. Maybe, I forget the name of it. It's the Evolution plastic.
I'm not sure. Looks like he threw that a little bit low. He wanted to do a little bit of an ante, it looks like, to try and flip it up and get it there, but he just threw it a little bit towards the ground, so.
336 feet. I'm going to throw a Comet. This is a good mid-range distance for me. Throwing a hyzer straight at it. Kind of turning over. Going to hit the back door. And that's not bad.
No, that's not bad. You'll have a putt. Sean's up.
Sean's going to throw a T-Bird or a TL, one of the two.
Those are his go-to?
That's his go-to.
For fairway straights?
Fairway driver.
Okay.
That's all he's got in his bag. I don't even think he has anything flippier than that. They're all just really worked in. That was a little too worked in, maybe.
Flipped over just a little bit and hit some of the trees, I think halfway down the field. He might have a hard upshot there.
Yep, that's a tricky spot, being on the right side behind those big trees. But it's doable. Brad ripping on some type of driver.
Looks like he went from left of the field to right and just gives it a nice S-curve, just barely missing the basket by 3 or 4 feet, but skipping long in the backside.
What a good pace that drive had.
Yep.
That's a driver, and it still came in soft, and it
very controlled.
Checked up really well. That was really impressive by Brad.
Maybe hoping for a tree bounce at the very end. There is a couple of catches back there.
A Brad, I don't know.
That could have been an ace run.
Yep, and there's Sean laying up. That tree's about 10 feet, 15 feet from the basket, so that's pretty much a guaranteed par for that guy.
Oh, you better strap in, because that's going to be a tough shot.
And we got Taylor here, just within 100 feet, laying it up.
Nice flick approach.
Taking his medicine there. He's not gonna risk the pine straw, any slides or weird rolls or anything. He's just gonna take a par. This is from about 30-ish feet, 35, 30, 33.
Birdie attempt.
Yeah, and there's, I think now that I see it, it's a low ceiling, so I'm trying to give it a good run, and I sailed it a bit.
Oh, and that rolls. Yeah, that's behind a tree, look like. That's not what you want to see.
Didn't think I was going to miss high on that one, but...
Can't make them all.
Can't make them all. We got Brad here from about 22 feet.
Didn't commit enough, yep. Need a little more power.
And I would say this is just inside the circle. Maybe like 30, 28 feet, something like that.
You going between trees? I can't tell.
Oh, I think I got a pretty open look at the basket. And that's just a little bit higher. Little bit of disappointment.
Not fun to see, yeah.
Just and I mentioned it earlier with the pine straw and the interesting plays that you get off of it with sliding and rolling, and that was a good example. So
I'm gonna come back to that putt, but let's see Sean go at it, and that is a par save. All right.
Drains it about a 20-footer, and I've got a 10-footer for an easy bogey.
Brad's up next. Easy par.
Not what I expected to see on this hole with this group.
Taylor with the donk. I agree.
I was looking for some birdies.
Going back to that hole and that bogus situation, how do you get out of your head?
Well, the trick of being out of your head is never being in your head.
So, I mean, that was kind of a broad, question, but yeah, basically, how do you get over a bogey when you're doing so well in the round. I know.
We're gonna need a couple hours to go.
Yeah, maybe you're right. You're right.
All right, here's hole 2. Playing this hole 3. I think at this point I'm just gonna call it hole 3, even though it's hole 2. 303 feet.
This is the fun one.
Yep. This has got a really interesting gap. The short pad, the tee's basically right next to the curved tree that we're going to be throwing under, and it's just an interesting fairway. It's a solid mid-range shot or a putter. I believe Taylor's throwing a putter off the tee, getting over on a little bit, but it's sneaking through the right side. We got Sean up next, looking like he's throwing a rock again. Common theme for the day.
I like the mid-range play, especially from this tee pad.
Agreed. And he puts that on a good hyzer, flipping up to flat.
Tree on the left side.
Tree, man. The last tree. How many times can you say that? That was a great shot.
Brad Ramsey next.
Looking like he's also throwing a rock in the woods.
Push it a little bit right. Double play action.
You'll see that a lot. Once you hit one tree on this fairway, you're bound to hit maybe 2, even 3. And I've got a buzz here. Little beat up buzz. And that's a good correction from the first round for the long.
Yeah, that looks pured.
And a nice little tree bounce to the basket.
It's a tree that's pretty much pin height, and yep, just scoots back 20 feet. That should be a nice little birdie attempt. Everybody else is looking a little bit far away for that birdie attempt, I think.
Looking a little tricky here, but not the hairiest thing I've seen on this hole.
No.
He looks like he's got a couple windows at it. I can't tell from this angle, but he looks like he's going left and wide.
No. It's unfortunate Brad hit a tree that I'm guessing didn't look like it was that much in the way.
Yeah, I mean, he was trying to turn it around it and just kind of threw it into it, and that happens in the woods, but then he makes up for it with this incredible shot. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing from there. And he went to a more hairy position and figured it out.
Agreed.
So Sean, see that tree that he hit right to his right in front of him, was cruising to the basket.
Sean's up for their long 2 look. Not really too many obstacles in the way.
We'll see if he can spin this in there with his banger GTs.
Just a little short. I want to say that was like a 40 or 50 footer.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A little downhill.
Range, I'd say. Here's Taylor from just right of the basket. I think he's going to have to guide it around that tree a little bit.
What?
Wow.
Did you see his body? No movement.
That's how you want to keep the head still.
All arm, man. That was so cool.
Control, and that was amazing. That was a great putt. What good commitment to go around the tree and know your disc is going to fade.
He knew it perfectly. Tried that shot a couple times.
Brad with an unfortunate nub out. That's like a 50-50 chance it could be in or it could be out.
Phil, for the 2.
Yep, a little 20-footer. Got to make this one count. Got to get back on the train.
All right.
Nervously stick it in the basket. We're cruising now. We got a birdie
Sean
again.
for the 3. And then he was a little nervous about that one going in, but
question.
he didn't feel too good about that, but still, same result. It's in.
Brad's going to take a double bogey there. That's unfortunate. Bit of an errant shot and then a missed putt and just a double bogey on hole 2 doesn't feel great.
No. So going into hole 3, this is going to be about 300 feet. I think it's a flick hole for sure, but you're going from left to right, kind of downhill at first, then leveling back uphill, going to the right. As you see on this shot on the screen, I mean, that's basically, we want a high flick shot coming in.
You'd like to saw it off, but you have to commit to it. You can't be early, but you don't want to push too far forward. You want to make sure that you're heading up the hill to the right. Where a backhand might play that shot pretty well, the angle with the tee pad is very difficult. So the forehand's a common play.
Yep.
Taylor's a forehand specialist, and he just throws that shot effortless.
And that's how you do it.
That's insane. So effortless.
When you get into that valley, it does get really difficult. These trees look a little sparse, but they get thick and they line up just perfectly to screw you up, especially from the bottom of the hill. So you want to go past it, if anything, come back at it.
I'm 0 for 2 in this hole, and this is going to make a solid 0 for 3. I haven't had a good shot on this hole the entire tournament.
Down bottom of the valley. Yep.
Yep, and it happens, and I'd like to get a birdie on every hole at least once during every tournament. That seems like a good goal to have. Sean's going to throw here the backhand line.
A little early.
Super tight line to throw backhand.
Yeah, it's goose to the left, I think, where Phil is for his shot as well.
Yep, and Brad's going to throw a forehand. I remember when I first met Brad, I didn't think that he threw a lot of forehands. He just seemed like your classic
Backhand,
Masters player, backhand, you know, just a super classic old school disc golfer. But he's got forehand game. He's got it for days.
And look at that, man.
Right here.
That was a smooth throw. No wiggling in that, no butterfly effect. That was a nice hyzer straight to the basket and landed right in front of it. Easy tap in, or 5-6 footer.
Here we are from a third camera view. And then the second camera.
So if you can see on that hill, look at these trees all in your way. That's got to be a tight line, whatever you're picking from there.
I was just throwing a little hyzer with a Luna, just hyzering it up around some trees.
And found a way.
There was a little gap there, but I hit
That's
it.
tough.
Yep, and I was happy with that. I was happy to get up and down because I almost took a bogey on this hole the round prior to this, I believe.
Sean trying to find similar gaps, and he does, and parks it as well. That is incredibly difficult from that spot. I applaud to both of you guys. Great shots.
We got Taylor here. He's going to clean up a birdie, no problem.
Oh, yeah. Directly straight, no up and down, just beam it.
Brad looking for the same. And not only is he a great driver, but he's a great putter.
Mm-hmm.
Brad is the real deal. He's the full package.
Good birdie. And with that, Phil ties. Nope, no, was that the last hole? Nope. Yep, you're right. You tied him on the last hole.
Taylor's up by 3 now. That's a good lead going into hole 4 here. Gonna play 486 feet. Par 4 here. And that's me splitting the fairway with the Comet. Probably, arguably, the best mid-range in the woods of all time.
I would agree. I like the Comet.
Comet's a great disc.
Maybe Coyote.
We got Taylor at first. You're really looking to bend something from left to right. Go straight down the fairway. Super difficult par 4 here.
Yeah, so this is that big L1 you saw in the rounds before. Looks like Taylor just let it go a little bit earlier. It came out of his hands, but he's to the left, maybe about 100 feet in.
Brad might be throwing a mid-range. Looks like a mid-range to me.
Brad made
just lacing the gap.
Great shot as well. Turned it over straight to the middle, and that's basically all you want. If you can go straight for about 250, 300, that's all you want for the next upshot.
If he could just be maybe another 50 feet long and 30 feet right, you'd be looking straight at the basket almost. Here's me with the Comet. Throwing it high and turning over. And that's what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Just getting up a little further to the right.
As you can,
the angle to the basket.
You can saw that that turn kind of back towards the camera. That's basically when you get that straight shot towards the basket. But until you hit that gap, it's going to be really hard to make any penetrating shots to where there's so much trees left and right.
The line isn't. It's so far left up that hill.
And Sean just hitting a little early on the right side. Maybe just flipped it over a little bit too much. I can't remember if there was any wind out there today or not.
I don't think it was too windy besides where we were on the water.
Mm-hmm.
It probably got a little bit windier over there, but I think it was a pretty calm day.
It's around the 6 and higher holes or around there. I can't remember.
Exactly. Taylor's laying up. Smart move from where he was at. Sean looks like he has a little bit of an angle, so that through that gap in front of him, it's going to push up to the left from there. That's a decent shot from there. Kind of will set him up to get a par.
Definitely hard to get to the basket from where they're at. They're either going to have to go high with a lot of hyzer like Taylor did, or just try and maybe find some kind of gap and hope and pray.
He sawed it off a little bit, like how you want to.
Yep.
And it didn't push it too far straight. He just kept it on hyzer. And here's me just throwing an upshot straight at it.
That's your second shot?
That was my second shot, and you can see how I had a straighter look at the basket.
Yep. So, yep, like I said, you want to be just where Phil is, maybe a little bit further forward, but that's the money spot, so you can have an open gap towards. You can see that tunnel from where we're going if you just go straight, straight back.
Brad using every bit of his forehand talent. He just flexed one up there from about 200 feet away, just beautifully.
Puts it about 10 feet. That's where you want it.
Absolutely. Sean's got a cheeky bid here.
Doing an Annie putt, that was difficult. It didn't flip over just enough. It just kind of stalled out and hyzered out, but
though, and he did a great job. He put it right there.
And he's parked, so that's good.
Everybody's just gonna tap in, and looks like I'm gonna card a birdie and get one back on Taylor. That's not a bad spot to be. Brad's gonna get a birdie after his double bogey, just like any good professional would. Really straighten the round out.
So hole 5, this one's going to be 282 feet. This one is downhill. It's I would say one of the easier holes in the course. You don't need too much.
Not any less tricky.
Agreed. I mean, it could be a
straight shot, but it almost feels like you're gonna try and turn it over just a little bit, but then it needs to go straight and then left down the hill.
Yeah.
So that's a very tricky angle.
So easy but touchy. Maybe easy with distance, but difficult with how.
We're playing the short. This is a short. This is 201.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is the easy. This is the easy hole.
All right, so
it's just it's a soft hyzer. I'm throwing literally my flippiest putter on a lot of hyzer and just letting it just kind of cruise down there. It doesn't take a lot of power to throw the shot at all.
I think the skip play is the way you want to go, basically. You don't want to go long. You want to skip towards it, and it's easier going downhill with a slide. So
absolutely.
Definitely that play, I think. Unless you're trying to go for ace runs.
Right, and then
which Taylor looked like he did.
Always trying to go for ace runs, and he's always throws aggressive. He's a little, maybe almost outside the circle. Looked like that little pin marker over there, that green marker was the circle.
Only problem with that,
Sean's lining up a standstill. I envy this right here.
I like the standstill shots.
I'm not a standstill player. I need a little one step into it.
With Kentwood under your belt for so much time.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
Just go out. You just need to tear your ACL or do something bad to your knees where you were forced to do that. I think that's what it is.
Maybe I'll just practice my standstills.
I apologize. Don't tear your ACL. Just do that. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Taylor, look at
benefits.
25 feet.
Yes. Oh my money.
This is like 15, 20 max.
Taylor's burning out. He's like, nope, I'm not giving that stroke away. And Phil answers, I'm coming.
Let's go.
Great birdies from both y'all.
Brad's tapping in. That's not something you expect to see from Brad.
Slight hesitation.
Very uncharacteristic of him. But it happens to everybody. But if you play against Brad Ramsey, you best know that ain't gonna happen very often.
Nope. That's a great comeback.
Yep, just happening to par. What a great shot by Sean.
Puts it close to the basket.
What do you want to do? It slide it right in.
Makes an easy birdie.
Get the easy birdie, exactly right.
On to the next hole.
Alright, so here is hole 6, playing in the short tee, 249 feet. Another fairway where you play a straight shot, you're just going to bend it a little bit left to right. I'm going to use, I believe, my Comet. I was throwing a flippy putter on it before, but I'm just going to throw it towards the trees about halfway down the fairway on the left and let it work right.
So this is a pretty difficult hill. First off, you're going from right to left and uphill.
Left to right, but yep.
Or left to right. Yeah, and uphill. And it's really tricky because you can't throw a straight shot. You need to throw
a straight shot, but if you could see directly off the back of the tee pad's not really facing that way.
Yeah.
And that's why you're right.
So, yeah. So basically, you want something to flip over, but not too much that it goes into the woods early.
Exactly. And it's sometimes, in some cases, you end up throwing it.
Oh my. That had the height right there.
And that's the ideal shot. He didn't throw it too far. See, mine was a very turned over shot, but it worked. But that was a beautiful shot. right down the middle, just a little bit of left to right, work in the fairway.
What'd you think he used? Putter?
Oh, it was rock.
Rock?
Had to be.
Ah.
Yeah, he throws all rocks.
Rocks are magical.
And here's Brad just going to put it up close to the basket. Maybe give it a run.
Hey.
Sheesh.
That was a good up run.
A little bit of a run. That was a full-fledged run.
Up run.
An up run in the basket, almost.
Taylor Rafalowski for the 2.
Taylor does this thing with his fingers there. He kind of looked like Paul Macbeth, how he like opens his hand before he like puts his hand on the putter to like throw it. Maybe.
Everybody's got their thing.
Right? I just noticed both of them do it recently, and now
signature move.
Signature move.
Yep.
This is about a 22-footer.
Phil with the birdie.
Feeling good.
Yep.
He's trying to clean it up here.
Getting closer to Taylor, who just... I don't think he made that last one.
Nope, I'm going to get one back on this hole as well. Sean's got it.
Sean's in, too, with a birdie. This is a tough one, man. I'd like to get this one. No gimme.
Not a gimme. Definitely not, even from the shorts.
Oh, my gosh. That's not a double.
No, it's a bogey.
That's a bogey.
It's 2 strokes nonetheless, and I'm going to get even closer.
That's what I was thinking. Sorry, Taylor.
Here we go, Brad, from about 15 feet. Just looking to clean this up and get to the next hole. No problem.
All right, all right. All right. Hole 7. This one's going to be... I like these 2 tee pads. They're kind of different, but they're pretty much the same.
They're very similar, but they just give you just a little bit
more distance
angle to try to
I think it's
around the corner. But yes.
I think it's a flick shot all day. You're kind of going downhill with some nice pine straw, the whole field, or the whole...
You can throw it like 180 feet and it'll skip the rest of the way the hole probably.
Basically downhill to the right. About 250, something like that.
Yep, 246. I'm going to throw my zone. And I pulled it a little bit.
You just want that flat to skip at the end, going downhill, and that works out. I mean,
I think I pulled that too much. It didn't look like my second round. My second round was definitely a yank.
Another flick.
Sean, this is one thing you won't see from him very much, and wow, that's unfortunate because it was such a great flick out of his hand.
Yeah.
He's not a flick player.
There's those 3 trees at the very end. It creates like an island. You can go either before it or after it.
Yeah,
and,
but
if he hit it, yep, and that's where he hit, unfortunately.
100%.
There's the small little gap. And the rare backhand.
Wow. And
not bad.
From the past few holes where he threw forehand, I really expected that to be a forehand.
You've had practice, but
he's got a buttery smooth backhand, so we know these things.
I think he'll still have a putt, a little bit longer one. And looks like Taylor went a little bit left early, maybe the wrong.
And he's really the forehand specialist on the entire card. I mean, he's got the best forehand, longest, most accurate. It's overall the best forehand in the group by far.
So Taylor shooting from uphill, downhill. This is very difficult. I mean, you can just imagine what you're thinking, just getting a roll and just going straight downhill. The
camera's maybe not doing all the justice of how this hill looks, but it's fast and it's got pine straw and roots.
I'm guessing they're trying, but not really putting too much of a hyzer on there, just in case they don't.
Yeah, that's a good
roll.
And I don't know if everyone thinks about that, but that's a great point. That you definitely don't want to hit this hill with a bunch of hyzer or too much at all. Because you're doomed. You're gonna roll, and there's a ditch down to the right of the basket.
That's unfortunate.
An interesting place to be in those trees, and it's a common place about 25, 30 feet away from the basket.
He was just right behind you.
Was that it? And so I'm actually a considerable amount closer, probably about.
No tree in your way, nothing on your right and left.
I'm like 15 feet away from the basket, maybe 18 feet, much closer than it feels like for him, especially in those trees.
And he backhand.
And he threw a backhand, so, it works.
Yeah, it works.
It all filters down the hill. Like, that's what we were saying. You only have to throw like 180-foot forehand and it skips. Well,
good birdie.
The backhand works too. Thank you.
Great finish.
That was kind of textbook, how you want to play the hole. High chains there. That didn't look bad at all.
It didn't.
A little high.
I think it hit high and it just, I can't tell you. Weird.
Couldn't tell you what happened, but it was weird.
And he throws it in for the bogey. Brad's finishing off with a par. After unfortunately hitting that. All right, next hole.
All right, here we are. Hole 8. This is an interesting hole. It's almost a jump putt for some of us, and a little touch shot for others, depending on what you like to do. Looks like I've just taken the lead by 1 stroke going into hole 7, aka hole 8.
All right.
All right.
With that 4, yeah.
And I like the jump putt play here.
Did you know you took that spot at that point? Were you like keeping up with everything? Can you remember?
I don't think that I knew I had the lead.
But you had a caddy, right, Brad?
I had Brad, but we hadn't talked about anything. I told him to leave me alone. Don't tell me anything.
Okay. No, it makes a difference. I'm wondering, like, is
today.
it good to know your score? I mean,
maybe.
kind of.
Maybe it can be.
Yeah.
Can be good, can be bad.
You need
Who you are when it is.
You need to get a caddy to let you know at the right moments.
Well, and I think we're gonna see a little bit of that action going on a little later in the coverage on the back. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. All right.
In the meantime, we've
Taylor.
got 2 shots already down.
Taylor, apologize.
I did a little jump putt. Kind of worked out. Got most of the way down there. Taylor's throwing like a half shot almost. It's so hard to do that.
It is.
And he's down in the ditch. He's gonna have a look if he wants it, but it's a little windy here.
Yeah,
look. Wind coming off the water.
Look at these trees above you guys. I mean, that stuff is just moving.
It's just blowing in right from the lake, right in our face.
I mean, you can just imagine with the headwind just sailing straight into the water.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Sean looked like he hyzered out.
How far do you think this is? Like 60 feet?
Yes. And you have to throw it.
Feet.
You have to throw it above the little walkway.
The bridge.
And low enough so it doesn't go into the water after missing it, which you hope it doesn't do.
You don't get down there. If you got a 100-foot upshot, it's almost like playing the hole again.
Mm-hmm.
Brad just lays up about 40 feet. And here's Taylor. I thought he was going to run this. And he made a quick decision to just lay it up. And I looked at the whole card, and I was like, I'm going to be the only one to have to try to run this play.
I mean, that's really daunting behind you. That huge lake.
25, 30 feet straight into the water.
I mean, you just took the lead. You don't want to make a dumb mistake like making another 4.
And I had the lead because I think I knew even if I threw that in the water, I'm not costing myself the lead. We're tied for the lead.
So you knew. Okay.
Maybe
Okay.
I don't remember. But when I made that, I felt the momentum switch for me, and just personally, I was like, okay, we're doing things now.
I like Taylor's upshot. I agree with you, man, on that one. It's not my home course. I'm not familiar to Raleigh, and just got the switch.
Okay, well, that was hole 9 for the front 9 coverage.
Oh, yeah.
With hole 0 and 8, that's 9.
Hey, guys, we'll be back very soon.
Thanks for tuning into the front 9, and like you said, we'll be right back for...
Guys, get ready.
Round 3.
This is it. This is the whole kabang. You don't know what's happening right now. We just had a switch at the last 2 or 3 holes. Stay tuned. ProSide Productions.